Okay. So I'm trying to play catch up here, and I know that for some of the assignments that you guys need to be using some Photoshop over here. So, and I know that we have all different level people in this course. Some people have done mainly Illustrator, some have actually worked with mainly Photoshop, and so I'm making some small videos on how to use some of the basic tools all the way up until, I think that you'll be where I was at last week and you'll feel more comfortable with the program in general, I believe. All right, so let me put you on screen share. All right, so when I open Photoshop, and then my Photoshop's gonna be a mess because, well, that's just the way I work. I'm a mess. All right, it's the way I work in real life too. My real fine art tools, not real life, but in the physical world, as opposed to the virtual world, I work exactly the same way. Like things are all over the place. It's chaos. It's just comfortable for me. So I apologize for that in advance. I'm gonna open Photoshop, and when you open it, I was gonna start with it opened already, so I did have stuff already open, but then I decided that maybe it's best I show you. I don't know what happened there. It's like, it froze. That was weird. All right. Anyway, so right. All right. So that's where we're at. So when you open Photoshop, you have there's a disaster already. Okay, you have create new, open, that type of thing, and I have all my recent files that I've been working on. This stuff is for Roblox. My kids have a group that they will. My one son has a group, and my niece, and they wanted to advertise it, so I was helping them out there, helping them create badges and such in Photoshop. All right. Anyway, so when you come here, and you go to open Photoshop. I don't know why I did that. You hit create new, okay? And up top now, and this has been for the past, I don't know how many versions where they give you all these cool options. At first, I hated it. I hated the fact that you could click on mobile, web, art illustration. It was just too confusing. I could just type in whatever I wanted right here. But it's actually quite the time saver, I have to say, because you don't have to actually look up every little detail. You have to go, okay, for mobile, what is it that I have, what size do I have to make it? So I have a mobile right here. It tells me, and it opens it for me, what I need. And they even have some templates and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're making it your own in the end, right? So anyway, you go to print. I'm gonna go to print and tabloid. I'm gonna flop my screen landscape right here. Tabloid's 11 by 17 inches, and I have it at 300. It's best for printing. I mean, here you can change it to CMYK if you want. It doesn't really matter at this point. A lot of people just work in RGB for now. It used to be that you'd have to switch it because it was advisable, but it just doesn't really make that much of a difference for what we're doing. We're not doing like a 4-color, well, I mean, we could, but right now we're not. We're just printing out stuff at like a regular inkjet type of printer, laser printer. So RGB is fine. And, yeah, white background's fine. You can do transparent if you want. I like the black background, transparent. The funny thing is I always start with white and I always end up making it transparent anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to start with white because I always do. But this used to be an option, so yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to start with white. We'll hit create. Now, when you guys come into Photoshop, what you're going to see for the first time is I'm going to reset my essentials. Up in this corner up here, you'll see that there's a tab. It's like that in pretty much Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop. I'm trying to think of what else it's like that in. And you reset your tools. So here, if I hit reset essentials, it goes back to the default, and you'll see all the tools in the right spot, all nice and neat. Because when I work all over the place. Like I said, I'm quite the mess. So I hit reset, and you'll see all my tools are all nice and neat. I have my toolbar all skinny. I hate working with my toolbar skinny. I have no idea why. It makes no sense because it leaves me less space when I make it all fat, but I like it like that. I don't know. I don't like this at here, this whole learn thing, and I should probably be using this more than I do. It's pretty cool. It's got painting effects, things like that. All right, you guys can use that. I mean, eventually one day I'll look through it. I haven't got a chance to. Photoshop is so intense now, more intense than it's ever been. All right, so we're gonna get rid of the libraries also. Don't want that. You guys always browse through that later. You'll see I'm saving myself some room on this half, and maybe that's why I don't mind this half being a little bit fatter. I like to see them all up here. I don't like going all the way down to the bottom. Also, I like to work with my Mac tools on the side here, my docking station on the side. A lot of people do not like that. A lot of people like it even disappearing. I like it just like that. And you might have yours at the bottom. I find the bottom for me gets in the way, which is funny because there's really nothing on the bottom of my screen. Occasionally there is, but you know, anyway. So you have these different tools up here in this box right here. If you're on someone else's computer or on a school computer sometimes, and it's a universal login, what will happen is some of your tools will disappear because people make that happen and you'll not know how to get them back. All right, so what you do is you can always go to reset essentials like I just showed you up in this area. But sometimes even when I've done that in the past, it doesn't bring back all my tools in my toolbox. So I come over here where it says edit toolbar. Okay. And I'm gonna write down what I'm doing so this way we can, like, I know how to list a video. All right. Come on. All right, edit toolbar. I don't know why I wasn't clicking well. That was weird. So over here, you have all the tools that are listed in the current toolbar. Okay. If I don't want them in the toolbar, like for instance, like somebody might erase my eraser from the toolbar, and I'm going to be really upset if that happens. So I'm going to click here, and I can, you know, throw that over here. And these are going to be extra tools, magic erasers. Somebody hit all my erasers on me, right? Maybe they even got rid of my clone stamp, and I really wanted them. All right, and maybe they got rid of my gradient because that's happened to me before, and my paint bucket. I have no idea why people do this to me. And then they hit done, all right? Then I'm over here working. I can't find those tools, right? There's brushes, there's all these things. There's no eraser. Like, where did all that stuff go? All right, and then so the reason why I'm showing you in case your stuff does disappear and you can't figure out how to get it back, that's what you need to do. You need to come over here to the extras. These are all extras. If I click on this bar, and it's showing all the extra ones. All listed, and I go back to edit toolbar and I could throw them all back. I could put them back where I want them. I could even put them in, you know, different areas they weren't in before. Let's see. Let me go back to clone stamp. Pattern stamp go together, gradient tool in my bucket. Oh, I had to drag them out of there. It's not where I want them by themselves. See, I don't want them stuck there. So you could customize your toolbar to be the way you want. You can have your paint bucket in the front. So sometimes when I go over tools, you might be like, I don't know where that tool is that she's talking about. It's probably just in a different location from yours. I can always hit clear tools, restore to defaults. So everything goes back to where it's supposed to be. And so this way we're all working exactly the same. And then you hit done. All right, so that's it, you know, a nice little demo on that in case that ever happens to you. Also, something that's very important for you. And I noticed, I didn't know it even did this, honestly. And then what happened is one of my students kept, all their stuff kept disappearing. And I was like, oh, shut the, this many, many years ago, probably like a decade, all right? And I'm like, just shut the computer off, turn it back on. I have no clue what's going on, right? So what happened is the letter F on your keyboard, hit it real quick for me, hit it. If you're on Photoshop or Illustrator, and everything disappears. It's a different view, not Shift F, not Alt Option F, not FNF, none of that. Just the letter, plain old letter F. And you can absolutely accidentally hit this and be like, where are all my tools going? I can't even save it. You'll be freaking out. Let's just, so you know, it's Control S on PC or Command S on a Mac to auto save. So you just do that in case anything ever happens like that. But you hit the letter F and all this comes back. Also, these tools over here, okay, and all these palettes over here, take a look at them real quick. I'm going to hit the tab key on my keyboard and you'll see everything disappears. The reason is for a quick view, because when I work, I told you I work like a mess. I'll have palettes and everything like all over the place, right? So because I do that, it's like sometimes you want to take a quick glance, you know, and so the tab key gets rid of that all in 10 seconds. Now say if you use your palettes, you just want to get rid of the palettes, you hold down the shift key and tab and just the palettes disappear. Notice my toolbox over here. My toolbox is still there. So, and if I want to bring all those palettes back, I hit shift tab again, they all come back. All right. All right, I'm just taking little notes here. I don't want to make the video too long. So here's your move tool. Okay, this is a very, you know, obviously a lot of the tools are very important, extremely important because I get to move stuff around with this. All right, here's your selection tools. You can use all these selection tools along with all these selection tools along with your quick mask, which is down here. They can all be used together as one big group. So I'm going to open up a file real quick. I'm going to try not to make this video more than 20 minutes. We will see. All right. So I'm going to open up a file. I saw a flower before. There's definitely a flower in here. I swear I saw it. Maybe there's no flower. I definitely saw one before. There's a flower. All right. So the flower is not here. If I go to desktop, there's no flower. It's definitely in downloads. I know it was. So I can put up documents. All right. Anyway, I'll just have to pick something else out. We'll just do this thing. I don't know. All right. The black hole. Could have sworn it was here. Anyway, I'm gonna hit open on that. What happened is my Zoom thing's getting in the way, my picture. I can't hit it. All right, so I'm gonna hit open. It's gonna open. You'll notice I have 2 tabs up here, okay? Like switching back and forth. I want to say, I want to select all this, everything that's not black. All right, and I'm gonna bring it over here, okay? So I just wanted to select black. There's different options to select it. And honestly, I would use none of these tools. I wouldn't use this. I wouldn't use this. I highly doubt that object selection is going to work or magic wand is going to work that effectively. Just watch, I'll use magic wand. You'll see the tolerance up here. Like when I click on different tools, this bar up here changes, okay? Tolerance is at 32. If I click down the black area, that's all it gets selected. If I wanted to select this black area, then I had to hold the shift key, right? All right, so I hold the shift key and then I can hit delete. And that's going to be a pattern. Oh, yours is not going to do this. I'm going to put white on for now, just so you can see. It deletes to white. All right, didn't select all the black though. So there's other ways to select stuff besides just those tools. Okay, so I'm going to go to select, deselect, or Command D for deselect. And I'm going to go to select color range. I have an eyedropper, okay? And you'll see over here, there's eyedropper regular, eyedropper plus, eyedropper minus. I'm gonna click into the dark black area, okay? And I'm gonna change this up and down, and whatever's getting selected here, see all that blackness, that's all getting selected. If I wanted to get a little less selected, if I wanted to save some of those grayish tones, I could use the plus or the minus. I can use probably minus, probably a better idea. Right, so this gray tone, I want it to stay, okay? So I'm gonna hit minus on that. All right, I'm gonna hit minus on this. Okay, and I'm gonna hit okay. And then I'm gonna hit delete, but you'll notice that this area here and this area here is also gonna get deleted on me because it's just, you know, so dark, it's reading it as that black. All right, and I'm gonna end up hitting delete, but before I do that, I'm gonna go to my layers palette, which is right here. And you'll notice that my background is locked. I'm gonna unlock it by double clicking in between the word background and on the lock. And I'm gonna hit okay. And I'm going to hit delete. That's what I have. I deleted all the black out. All right. I'm going to go to select, deselect. And I'm going to take this tab. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to drag it off. All right. And I'm going to take this image with my move tool and throw it over here on this composition. That's where I want it. I don't know why I want it there, but we're doing a demo, right? So this is what we're doing. All right. So, and I'm going to hold Command T down. Command T on my keyboard is a transform tool. And if I pull on the corners, it proportionately enlarges it, okay? That's Command T. Or you go up to Edit, Transform, and Scale. But notice when I hit Command T, it was proportionate. And notice what happens to the top of the screen right here, right? The top of the screen's got this little thing over here. It's got width and height, and it's at 72%. I go higher, 114%, right? And it's very proportionate no matter what I do. And if I squish it from the sides, it does still proportionate. You wanna know why? Because this is locked. If I unlock this, now I can squish it and make it not proportionate anymore, okay? I don't know why you'd wanna do that. I wouldn't do it, but anyway. If I don't like what I just did, I hit return on the keyboard, that commits it, okay? So then I'm going to go up to, I go to edit and undo. And I could do that a million times, undo, free transform. One if I did like 85 things and I didn't want, when I can't do 85 because mine's not set up for that. One if I did 30 things and I had like, you know, I wanted to go back all 30. All right, so I go up to window, history, And in my history palette, I go back to the very beginning since when I had my file opened. Okay, that's important because what happens is you once you save this, right, and you open it 3 days from now to work on it somewhere, all right, and your history starts over from that opening of the file. It doesn't start from the very beginning of you ever working. So just make sure whatever you save is what you really wanted. Okay. All right, so I have this here as my move tool, and I don't have anything else to cut out, so I have to get something that I could cut out. I don't know what happens to that flower. That I definitely had a flower. Yeah, I'm kind of all right. So anyway, I'm not really sure what happened to this flower. Anyway, it's a move tool. Here's your other selection tools. We're gonna find something that we can use. All right, now a cool well, all right, anyway, I'm gonna steal this image. I'm gonna control click it, hit copy image. I'm gonna bring it into Photoshop. I'm gonna go to edit and paste or control V. And this looks like it's nicely cut out, but when I put it on top of my black hole, you can see clearly that it is not cut out. So it's got white all around it, and unless I'm gonna continue to put it onto a white background, I'm gonna wanna cut that out. So if in the event that I want another layer over here, there's my layers palette, right? I hit this new layer right here. Years ago on the old Photoshop has a dog-eared page. The dog-eared means new. I think as a 2020 version or 2019 version, they switched over to this plus sign in the middle, which I don't really, I missed the dog-eared page. Anyway, this is my layer 3. And I'm gonna put paint bucket of purple or something there. I'm not sure. Let me just pick something out. I'm gonna hit OK. I'm gonna dump paint back there. And you clearly see that I had to get rid of this white. Now, they have these really cool tools now that they didn't used to have. And they're really quite amazing. Years ago, you had to select the elliptical marquee tool, you know. Hold the shift key while you're selecting it. So wait, no, don't do it. All right. All right, so I have to rearrange that, right? So let's go to select, transform selection, select that, make sure it's perfect. I meant to zoom in a minute, you know, and you'd have to really do an awful lot of work to select this guy, right? Oh, it's terrible. Let me zoom in. Zoom a little bit more. Okay, a little bit that way. All right, and we're gonna pretend this is perfect soon, even though it's not ever going to be perfect. It's perfect, okay? So hit return on the keyboard, and then I go to select inverse, and I delete the outside. I deleted my blue layer. Apparently my blue layer is on the same layer as my clock. Did not know that. That's really funny. Well, whatever. So it wasn't though. I'm confused what just happened. Okay, let me go back to edit, undo, layer visibility. Edit, undo. How many times did I hit that? All right, where's history? This is why history is important. So I'm gonna hit clear, go back to clear. So, oh, I was on the wrong layer. So the clock layer should be there, and it is. That's how I turn it on and off. So I was on the wrong layer when I hit delete. So I'm gonna come back up to this layer. That's the clock layer. And I wanna go, I just wanna delete the white. So I'm gonna go to select inverse. And it was already, that's so funny. I love doing demos like this. Inverse. I'm totally keeping it like this. I'm not erasing all this. All right, so I'm gonna hit delete, and it deletes the outskirts of my clock, and that would have been great years ago. But today, all right, you don't have to do all that anymore. I'm just showing you what these tools do though. All right, you can go here to Magic Wand, and this was a couple years back. Magic Wand was stunk at first, it really did, and then it became great. Absolutely great tool, right? So especially if you're white around a black ring, it doesn't get easier than this, right? So Magic Wand 32, totally perfect to use for this. You just hit delete, and it's gone. That easy, right? That's way better. But wait, then they came along with this other tool underneath Magic Wand, which is absolutely amazing. It wasn't amazing at first. Now it's absolutely, like, I just can't believe how amazing it is. All right, like you guys probably don't think it's that cool, but I mean, I really truly do, because I mean, if you worked for Photoshop for many years as I did, this is just a great object selection tool. All right, so let me deselect this. We have object selection tool on. Right now it's on a rectangle. You could change it to where it's a lasso. Okay, that's like really cool. So I'm just gonna go like this. Ready? selects the object for me. Right? Oh, and oh, it did messy. What happened there? Oh, now it fixed itself. That was really weird. All right. So anyway, it's like just the object. So I can actually use my move tool and pick up my object and move that guy around now, right? The downfall to this is that this is on the same layer as this. So when I click this layer, you'll see that these are both still together, and nobody wants that. All right. So we're gonna go back to move, and I'm gonna go to select inverse, and we are going to get rid of the white. Just hit delete. So you see that both those tools, Magic Wand and Object Selection, are far better for this purpose, for this specific one, than the elliptical marquee is. All right, so this is a brief overview of this. So we're going over some of the tools here. If I wanted to cut a hole in here, I don't know, maybe I wanted, wow, I would want something like that. All right, so anyway, let me just show you how they work together. You can use any of these guys. We're gonna start with the elliptical marquee. Maybe we're gonna start with the number 12. I'm just gonna put a little circle around that one. We're gonna end up cutting a hole in it. I decided it's not quite big enough, and I also want like a fuzzier edge. So right now the feather's at 15. All right, and I'm gonna put it at maybe 25, okay? And I'm gonna hit delete. 25. And make sure I'm off of that first. And I hit delete. And what you're seeing is it's deleting feathered, okay? Hit delete twice, it will do it again. You'll see it gets stronger. It goes up in increments. Now you're like, what's going on? Is that like a paintbrush? Would you spray paint that? That's not what happened. This is actually a hole cut out in the clock, all right, with a fuzzy edge. And I'm gonna show you why that's kind of cool, all right? And I'm gonna put another object behind it just so that you see. And we'll put a circle behind it. Where's my layers? There it is. No, I'm gonna get rid of that. I don't want this layer. Let me get rid of that. Yes, delete. Okay, so this one, I'm gonna put a circle behind it. I'm just gonna spray paint a different color. I was gonna use shape tool. We're not gonna get into that right now. So we're gonna use, we'll just do red. Dump it in there. I know it's in the front, but I'm gonna move the layers to below it. And you can see when I move this guy around, he's got a fuzzy hole cut out in him because I feathered it. Now, if I didn't want to feather it, I can use the elliptical marquee. Just go around number 6, for instance, here. That was really small. I didn't want feathering 25, so we're gonna do a feathering of 5 only, okay? And then I'm gonna hit delete, right? Yeah, that's the clock. Just make sure we're on the right layer, okay? I'm gonna hit delete and it's at 5. The feather is a little bit different. Now it's still got a hole in it, right? Different holes. All right, say I wanted to, do an 8 shape and I had a circle on it, for instance, and I could use these tools together, right? I had this circle on it and I wanted to go back in and I wanted to make a little curvature to it. So I'm gonna go over here to the lasso tool, okay? And on my keyboard, you'll see that the mouse, the cursor is now lasso, right? So on the keyboard, if I hit the Alt Option key, you'll see a little minus sign next to it. If I hit the Shift key, you'll see a little plus sign. But if I hold the Shift key down, as I drag my cursor over a little area, we'll drag it over the 9. We're gonna add it in. You'll see it added, right? If I hold the Alt Option key, it will subtract from the selection. Maybe I want to cut out like that. So I'm subtracting it from this selection. Okay. Why I want that, I don't really know. And then I can even go ahead and add a square selection on it. I can hold the Shift key down and add a little of that, okay? Then I can just keep going like this. I can use polygon. Polygon's best used for like sharp edges and walls and stuff. It's actually pretty cool. I'm going to show you in a couple of seconds. So anyway, I have 0 feather right now. And I'm just going to hit delete. And you'll see that there's no real feathering. Well, right here there's feathering when I did these tools because these tools were set up for feathering, but the square marquee was not. See, look, the square marquee had 0 feather. Did the lasso have a feather? Let's take a look. Lasso had 0 feather, but what did have the feather was the original circle I made. So if I go back to that original circle I made, you'll see that it did have a feather. And it's important to see this because once if you're working on a computer that other people work on, they put feather and you're like, why is everything coming out fuzzy? That's why. All right, you make sure that's at 0 and it cuts clean cut, no fuzziness. All right. The cool thing about the polygon lasso, I used to hate this guy. I hated it. I thought it was useless. It is not useless at all. It's pretty good. That's why it's there. All right, so polygon, let's go to him, right? So we're gonna click on this. Check this out. You click down one time and then you just let it go. You go all the way down here, straight edge. Come up here, complete straight edge. And then you have to make sure you finish it just like you would like a pen tool, like an Illustrator. See a little circle? When I click over, it forms a little circle telling me I'm about to close it off. And then I close it off and it's straight edges. It's great. And I just pick this guy up, move him around. I don't know what I'm doing with it, but you know, if I wanted to move it, you could do this. Just rotate. I don't know. Anyway, we're just playing around here, right, with some selection tools. Also, if I decided that I wanted to add this to this selection, I can just go right ahead and do polygon. Hold that shift key down, you'll see a little plus sign happen at my cursor. Go all the way up, all the way across, all the way back down again. And again. And now I'm adding 2 together, and I could technically pick both of them up and move them together. However, I'm not sure they're on the same layer. Let's see it. Yeah, I think they are. Okay. I think we're on the right layer. Let's see. Yep. And I go to Edit, Transform, Rotate. I'm going to have to stop this video. It's getting too long, right? So one more thing before I go on is Quick Mask. Quick Mask is right here. And everything's red right now, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is. What's selected right now is the areas that are not red. So if I were to use my brush tool, now brush is on white, okay? And I have this weird shape brush happening. We didn't even go over brushes yet, all right? And I'm painting away. And then when I go back, the Quick Mask again, that's also selected. So my hands are selected and this. If I go back to Quick Mask again, I don't have to switch to the eraser tool. A lot of people think you have to switch to eraser. You do not. You can stay on brush if you want and just make sure the black is in the foreground. If the black is in the foreground, the black will act as, you know, putting the mask back on or it's not being selected, okay? And then I click back here and then that's what's being selected and I can, you know, pick everything up and move it around. All right. So I'm going to end this video here on the selection tools and the move tools, okay? Hopefully that's helpful.